what we have here is a Harry Thomas special report. Today is January 19th, 2009. The website is located at harrythomas.info. I'm your host, Harry Thomas, and what I'm going to get into in this report is a breakdown of last night's Jack Van Impe Presents, where actually he just presented the prediction of who is going to be the leader of the New World Order. What he said wasn't shocking. It was actually, the way I see it, he was preparing his flock to accept the New World Order, which is coming. And we'll get more into that later. This is how the show opened.
Of course, we will take you around the world with global headlines, some of them being this question: is Iran's strategy behind the Hamas-Israeli war?
And here again is another example of people demonizing Iran. They get into it and they start demonizing Iran, making claims that aren't true, and saying that these and the quoted source for these claims is U.S. intelligence. And we all know how accurate U.S. intelligence has proven to be in the past, but we'll get back into that later on.
Again, is Obama primed to create the New World Order?
The question itself is very deceptive. Is Obama trying to create the New World Order? The New World Order has already been created, and they seem to be conditioning the people to accept the new puppet, which is actually being controlled by the elite behind the scenes. And Obama is just the front man whom they seem to think they're going to make some pretty good headway with him taking the reins.
And will the global economy rise or fall? All of these we're going to try and address on this program today. But
again, here they are conditioning the people into letting them know that the global economy is going to collapse, and preparing the carefully packaged information to lighten the shock value when all these things come to pass. Now, before I get into that, I want to cover briefly two other topics that were covered on this show. And one was the fact that the avian bird flu has now manifested into humans and caused a death.
I'm going to back up. Can the bird flu pandemic really reach all the world, become an epidemic, Jack?
Well, the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918 and 1921 took millions of lives, and right now in Africa they have rift fever, and it's doing the damage to thousands of human bodies. Now they're afraid because the avian flu, called bird flu, is now being passed into humans, and that's what they have feared. It's beginning, and that could take millions of lives in the near future. And you know, not only that, but they now know that it doesn't take a terrorist with a suitcase laden with a nuclear weapon to produce mass devastation in America. All they have to do is get a fellow with a ticket and an airplane trip, holding a suitcase full of insects and bugs, and he can take thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of lives by spreading that around the nation. Now, 25 different kinds of bugs, insects, and animals that can produce these diseases.
And then they started talking about biological warfare and the fact that they can use insects to spread these diseases.
Terrorists could use insect-based biological weapon. Now they could use swarms of insects to spread a deadly disease.
And again, the only reason I could see for saying this right after reporting on the avian bird flu is to just continue to create that state of fear that everybody is supposed to feel frightful about everything and everybody. And then they went on to cover a little bit about Big Brother, where they're talking about the cameras you can see now watching us, but in 5 years from now you won't be able to see them. Now, I would say this is accurate except for the point 5 years from now, because the technology is right there right now. Homeland Security has blimps up over several major cities in the United States and Canada. But they have these surveillance blimps already up. They announced that they were going to do it, and then when the people start seeing them, they're trying to pass them off like they're UFOs or something, or denying what they are. But they are Homeland Security surveillance blimps. They're already up in the sky, and they already are watching you without you even seeing the cameras.
Whoa, take a look at this. The cameras are everywhere, and you can see them. 5 years from now, you are not going to see them. Whoa, but they'll be seeing us. Police look to hack citizens' home PCs, that's their personal computers, without their knowledge, without a warrant. Can you believe it?
And we had the AT&T whistleblower who set up the system that funneled every piece of information that goes over the internet, not only with just AT&T providers, but every provider of the internet is going right into these big giant computers that the federal government and the FBI has set up to intercept every piece of data that is going across the system.
Now, Jack, here's something that's really scary, and I know that you took notice when I read it to you a moment ago. The cameras are everywhere, and you can see them right now. 5 years from now, you're not going to see them. That is very frightening to think people can be watching our every move without our even knowing it, Jack.
Big Brother has arrived. Not only that, but they're going to be able to check out personal computers without a warrant to convict people. And I'll tell you, they will be able to track people through it. Why? Right now, IBM, along with China and Japan, has created a computer that does 1,000 trillion calculations per second. Per second. How many people are there in the world? 6,700,000,000. Now, I worked this out mathematically with just pencil and paper, and that means that they can track down 143,000 pieces of information on every human being in the world per second. What an hour to be alive. Now, they were going to microchip the driver's licenses of the people in our state last May 12, 2008. They postponed it to May 12, 2009. We'll see what happens. In the UK, they're going to do it by 2011, and the world 2017.
See, this stuff isn't coming. It's here. Big Brother is already here. The New World Order is already here. Our loss of our country and our sovereignty and everything, that our way of life is gone. The time is now to stand up and resist this New World Order, this Big Brother system, this slavery incorporated. So now let's get into the analysis of the first question posed: is Iran behind the fighting over in Gaza?
All right, militant Islam threatens us all. Now this, of course, is from the Wall Street Journal. Israel's Defense Ministry's Amos Gilad: we won't let Iran go nuclear. That is quite a statement. And again, Israel says Iran could attack the United States with a nuclear bomb. How serious can that be?
Now, they're reporting that Israel is saying this even though the UN inspectors themselves say that there's no evidence that Iran has any capability of having nuclear weapons. And, and especially by February was what they're saying. This is complete nonsense.
Iran will be able to build first nuclear bomb by February. That's from the U.S. intelligence.
The same U.S. intelligence that said that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq and led full force into the war, only to find out that the intelligence was bad, and we're expected to believe them? This is credible? This is not what was reported by the UN.